Shania Mitchell here, and welcome to our very first ever episode of what I'm calling it Unscripted. I have a digital marketing business that's called Scrptd Media, and what that focuses on is the strategy behind building a personal brand. So I want to get granular with the faces behind these brands, what's made them huge successes, and I just want to hopefully inspire that creativity and that authenticity in other people when they're looking to build their own personal brand. I'm so excited to introduce our first guest today. She brings the absolute boss babe vibes. She is one of Subiaco's top selling agents, a very dear friend of mine, one of my OG clients, and that's Clare Nation.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, what are we doing here?
Oh my God, let's get into this. I'm excited.
Oh God, I'm glad you are. I'm terrified. So tell me, how did we get here?
So, okay, well, let's maybe rewind right back to how we met, because I think that it sort of starts the story off of where we sort of both began, where you began and where you've got to today, and how you've created this amazing business, which I'm so proud. So Shania and I, we met at working at Brady Corp, which was a business that facilitated some management of other companies, one mainly being First National Real Estate. Shania, you were working up in Karratha.
Oh my God.
And
how old was I? 20? 20.
Yeah. That made me what? I don't want to say. But, and then I can't even remember what you were doing up there actually.
I was the EA. And then
EA.
you decided, you were like,
and then you were quitting. You were going to quit. Remember, you were going to leave and come down to Perth. And I'm like, I have to have you.
And you took me.
Remember? I was like, no, you're not going anywhere else. I need to have you in the business. So, I don't even think we had a role for you.
You made one.
We're like, we need this girl. And for then 8 years, we were together. You were like side by side.
There's so many professional stories that we have, but equally as deep personal.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been through a lot.
The personal stuff goes pretty deep.
Absolutely. And I think, and then you sort of fast forward now to where we are now and why we have created what we've created. It has come from such an organic place right from the beginning as well, don't you think?
And I think that's what has allowed us to grow your brand, because me being your EA and I guess just learning how to write emails like you, knowing what makes you tick as a business person before you'd actually stepped into your power.
But now what's happened more so that I love is that you've blossomed into taking that and knowing how to really intimately get into the mindset of someone and then put it in all these different businesses, which you've done so effortlessly. Because the best thing about having our team together is that you know how I speak, you know what to say, but now I've seen you channel that into all of these different industry paths, which has just happened, I think, for you, and how it's created your business so successful like today, is because back in the day, you would listen and you would hear what we were saying. And I think that now you've got that awareness for everybody else.
And just became clones.
Yeah.
I was basically your clone.
Well, you were my
I still kind of am your clone a little bit.
You can, yeah. There's sometimes I'm going, I couldn't write that.
Who wrote that? Did I write that or did Shania?
That's exactly how I'm feeling.
Oh my God.
So, but yeah, that, for now, I think when we sort of then started this sort of, we had our first sort of 8-9 years together and everything that we went through, and I think that'd be great to kind of talk about that as well. But then when we sort of went, okay, well, I then took on a role in my business, and you were hounding me to go, right, we need to ramp up your socials, what are you doing? And I was really nervous about all of that. Do you remember? I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm not quite ready there, I'm not quite ready.
And I think we dipped our toes in the water, and then we took them out for a couple of months, and then you were like, yeah, right, I really need to go.
Yeah, especially in my industry.
But that was before it was kind of essential sort of marketing tool to use. I feel like it's now definitely something that you have to have as a real estate agent, as a rep and as a business. But that was you were kind of paving the way. I remember we were following some like East Coast agents as inspos.
Yeah.
Not all the agencies had Instagram.
No, that's true.
There wasn't, I don't even think that was when Reels were a thing.
Well, no, definitely not back then. We were having that conversation about, okay, well, what do you want? Like, what's important to you in your social? What do you want to say? What's your message? And for us to sort of sit down and go, okay, well, what I want to do is have people find me on social media and get to know me. Because I've always worked on those 5 principles of they've got to get to know you, like you, trust you, use you, and then hopefully refer you. So I was like, well, they've got to get to know me. And yes, they know my properties, but who am I as a person? And I already had quite a good sort of social media, I've had lots of friends on like social media.
And you were quite open and authentic on social media before you were even on social media. I remember looking at the things that you would share. You were very open and honest about a lot of things.
And this is when we were working so closely together and you were my absolute rock of support. My husband went missing. Literally missing. And we used social media back then. And I was just like, oh my God, I don't want anyone to know what's going on, what's happening. So he passed away 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it was really not a very nice circumstance. But he was gone for
We had to
7 weeks,
use that power to build a community to find him, essentially.
Well, it was huge. And so that was back in 2013. So really Facebook sort of took off 2007. So it was still really new and it was really fresh.
And Instagram was very fresh.
And I had to be so vulnerable out there to kind of put it out there. But I guess for me, we had to figure out and try and find him or his car or have some sort of path. And it did create quite a bit of a media storm and we were on the news and the
what
national...
was that other show?
Wanted.
What was it?
The Australian... Well, was it Wanted or Most Wanted? I don't know. It was such a weird time now, though, really.
But if you think about that now, that is basically going viral, essentially.
Well,
now, it would have gone viral. If that was kind of on today's platforms, it would have gone viral. But essentially, back then, that was what happened.
Huge.
It created a big storm. And it just kind of, I think, really showed us the power of social media and also putting that emotion behind it. So I would even say you were very before your time.
Well, it also can create a community of support and of kindness and generosity of everyone that was around me. Because if I didn't have that, I don't think I would have felt... I mean, I'm not sure. It's so hard to even put yourself back there now, 10 years or 11 years on. But I had this amazing support network of people we didn't even really know. Remember, I was getting all sorts of things delivered to my house. And at that point, I was going into work because I didn't know what else to do. And then you were like, okay, well, I was kind of in robot mode. You're like, Claire, you need to do blah, 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 blah. I would get it done. And I know we're laughing and smiling about it now. But
we
it was
weren't
just
laughing and smiling then.
It was full on. But we did have we were in our bubble, but then we had the community sort of surrounding us. And that came a lot from our social sort of presence.
Yeah.
And then that also, after 7 weeks, I think it was later, that we had found him, and then we obviously went through everything else with my children, and I still had that support and that community love and warmth. So when we kind of said, let's go, let's sort of, 7 years later, let's flip the switch into socials for your business, it was like, do I start fresh? Do I bring along my little cheer squad of people that have supported me and loved me along the way? Because I remember just thinking, gosh, I have to do this now for my children, my life and my work and my career. And I mean, I love what I do, but it had such more purpose and drive. I don't think I would have been able to do it with even to this day now, people that are on my search, I still have all my school mums or people that I didn't really know that played a part in that still rally for me. Even now, going, oh my God, I'm so happy.
But I also think that's testament to the fact that you have built, or you have just stayed so true to yourself for the whole time. So when the loss of Paul had happened, you really still wore your heart on your sleeve. Mm-hmm. And you were able to step into being so vulnerable online.
Yeah.
And in front of the camera. And I think you still do that very well. And I think that's what I mean.
I think you do that very well for me. Well, no, we balance it, don't we? Because, like, as I say, you kind of, like, and I guess this is why I think we work so well together, is that you will have a vision, I will have a vision, and together we collaborate together. But I'm very much I need to show everybody who I am as a person, stay true to myself. So I like my little stories, and last night I found some Chiquito chocolate, which, oh my God, was amazing.
Oh my God.
Oh, got to try it. And a little bottle of wine and watching the footy. And so, but people can have that little bit of a glimpse of who I am. It's real. And there are sometimes I actually want to get even more real, but you still get a little bit nervous to put it all out there.
Oh my God, you're talking to me. I'm like the opposite. I'm so private. Remember when I was first pregnant and I was like, no, we're not announcing it online.
Yes.
Like, so it's really, and I think that's why this is quite out of my comfort zone for me. As well, bringing that community of people on the journey, because everyone wanted to see you do really well.
Yeah.
After the hardships that you experienced in 2013, for us to start a social media account fresh with none of that following just didn't make sense at the time. And we were tossing up between whether we were going to whether we were going to switch your personal page to the business page and bring over those 500 odd followers.
Yeah.
Or are we going to start fresh? And it just didn't make sense because people are still joining you because of you. And
I think now, in that business sense, is that I've made all these other beautiful connections. And, there is obviously industry people there as well. A lot of real estate agents like to follow real estate agents to sort of see what they're doing.
But I think also they look up to you now because you've built such an authentic brand that's true to yourself.
Oh, thank you. I hope so, because what I like to think about so much of what I do and my purpose is that I want to inspire other people.
Yeah.
Even that is, if it is potentially those mums and families or, that may be now going through a little hardship, or not so much through loss of a loved one, but even a separation or something that, oh my God, I'm on my own now, I've got my kids, to kind of go, well, look what Claire did. Like, oh, look what I did. I mean, I want that for my children. I want that for my friends' children, to go, oh, Auntie Claire, this all happened, but look what she's doing now. Even for my peers. People that I work with, a lot of people don't know kind of my little story of what I went through.
They don't know that, and that just blows my mind because I feel like it's so in the forefront of it's still so fresh for me, what we went through, and I don't think it's ever something that will leave me.
No, but because it made us, like, I think, who we are now.
Totally.
But it also gave... empowered me to make another direction and step in another direction, which then put you in another... I mean, obviously you got in the direction of mummyhood, but it put you in a whole different direction.
A whole different space. I remember when I came on board and you were like, do you want to create the Property Exchange's Instagram?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure, that's going to pay for my food shop every week.
And
it's going to keep me just from being in the trenches of having a 9-month-old baby.
Yeah, my gosh.
And then that just grew, and that was one of the first pages that I remember we decided, we were like, we need to showcase what it's like to live in Subiaco, what the people are about, and Nikki was such a big advocate for that, and she was so, I guess, ahead of her time when it came to that.
And just also about just being true. There's no point, I mean, in this industry, you can't ever pretend to be somebody else.
No.
Because if you're sitting in someone's lounge room and you're trying to be something, they'll see straight through it. It's like ridiculous.
I think it's just in general, if you're trying to be something you're not, it's just not going to land.
No. And even that, I think that transpires onto social media as well. So I do get to showcase beautiful properties, and I've got, we've got lovely, I sell in a wonderful area, and I've got beautiful clients and things like that. So I am lucky that I do get to, you
have
get a
the
great aesthetic to work with. And I do like to show my face, and I do know I have to do more video, and I think that that's really, I see some really good agents now with really great followings that are now doing the video and the TikTok, and I haven't done the TikTok yet. But everyone just finds themselves, I think if they're going to try too hard, it doesn't work that way. But it's just about being a professional person in this business. And I think as a woman in real estate, to inspire other women in real estate as well. I love that, people can look up and go, oh, okay, well, that's a page that is genuine. She's who she is. And, what you see is kind of what you get.
Staying so genuine to that, and then you will attract the people that you're meant to attract.
Yeah, I agree.
And I just don't I don't think social media should be as transactional still as what it is. I think it's still such a hard sell.
Yeah, but I think that people, because it's the hardest thing is that you're putting yourself out there, and even in a professional sense, and this is where I wear my heart on my sleeve all the time. So if I meet somebody and I can share something with them that helps them, or I get to know more about them, I love that. That's why I do my job.
But why isn't that just everyone's thought process? This is what I just don't understand. It's like you give away stuff for free because it's going to come back tenfold. That's the way the universe works.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you've had so much success, because it's like, it's never been about the dollar amount.
No.
It's been about wearing your heart on your sleeves, the lives that you can change.
And I go into these homes and it's like, and this is where now, I love selling homes to first home buyers. I love selling homes that people are downsizing with, or they've lived in there for like the last 40, 50 years, and sadly, the family home's moving on, or a nice young couple that's about to have a baby. So all of these lives I am in.
Yeah.
So that's it's a huge privilege, but it's really intimate. So when I'm putting myself out there for people to go, okay, well, who is Clare Nation? I would love, I see her around and, okay, I'm on the
See her on the buses, the billboards.
A bit embarrassing, but, that, it's just like, okay, but I am just a person and this is who I am. You can feel that and it does get a bit showy, but again, that's our business and we have to be out there. But when you can work with someone to actually help you put out the brand for you, you just want it to be yourself. And how do you do that? Well, you just have to kind of get in each other's psyche and go, okay, well, this is kind of what I like, this is what I don't like. And
just making sure that, I think as well, what I've really realised now that I've, ridden the wave with my clients is making sure that you have clients that align with your values.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Otherwise they're going to cap you.
Well, they'll hold your creativity here as well.
That's right.
You've pushed me on certain things to kind of go, okay, you've got to think about it this way, but that's your professionalism. And you're not looking at, I'm like, well, why would I want to post that? And you're like, well, have you thought X, Y, and Z? And then I've gone, oh no, I haven't. So it's good that you can reciprocate in that. But then again, if you don't have someone that aligns with you in that, they won't take that the right way. I guess it's like any business, isn't it? Really, some people are going to like you, some people aren't going to like you. They're going to like what you do or they don't like what you do.
Yeah, and I think it's just about putting something authentic out there that's going to attract the people that are going to resonate with you the most.
Yeah.
I'm a mum of 2 young children, so it's like, I love working with, businesswomen that understand what it's like to juggle a family and a business.
And 400 other things.
And 100, but I think it's also, connecting with the right people. And the only way you can connect with the right people is if you put your authentic self out there. And how you do that, I think, is where you kind of probably need a little bit of support, but...
Well, now we're attracting people to my pages in regards to prospective buyers and prospective sellers, that they want to sort of see and watch what I'm doing. I would say, and like being super, super real, so we've probably worked together, so I've been back at Property Exchange. I started there in 1999. I was there for 11 years. We then worked together for 8, and then I've been back there for the last 7.
Yeah.
So I think we probably have worked together for 5 years on socials?
On socials.
Do you think?
Well, Harlow's 6, so I always go off. We started together when she was 9 months. Yeah, 5, 6 years.
So back then, obviously, I still had like my little cheerleading squad and all my friends and sort of family all over the world. So I had all of that. But I would say that in the last 2 years, and I've got another really good friend, Emma Guthrie, who has an amazing social media presence, and her business, she gets a lot of inquiry coming off directly off her business. And she's built that for some time. But I can probably say it did take a while for, and I think that that's just going with the times as well. But now people are inquiring and saying, look, I love the properties that you have, and even not in my area, which I'm totally open to selling in other areas, but particularly even in sort of Subi, they know that, if they want to sort of be ahead of what's happening in the market, or having a look at maybe a sneak peek or something that's off market, that's where I'll post it first.
Yeah.
So you've sort of got to be sort of following me, but people will reach out and go, oh, hey Claire, could you appraise my home, or I'm looking to buy, and they, because it's a really emotional journey. So if they sort of feel like they're connecting with me already, then it works.
Yeah.
I think it works quite well.
So it's almost like, I think, and what we spoke about was like building that exclusivity within that page. So why are people going to want to follow you? Because they're going to get that personal connection with you. They're not going to have bots chatting away.
No.
And they're also going to get rewarded for following you. So what does that reward look like? Oh, they're going to be able to see a property that's, launched on Instagram 48 hours before it hits realestate.com.
Yeah.
Which is powerful. And it builds loyalty, I think.
But I get to also jump in their lives as well. So it's so nice because, if I've got some clients that say, oh, Claire, this is what I'm looking at doing, or, I can really understand by just sort of learning a little bit about their social media as well. It's just, you have to really understand the people that you're working with. And I think they have to understand who I am. So that's where sort of, I always think about what can I give others. It's not about what can I get. It's like that. I think that in this business, it's all about what I can provide. I am a service provider. I provide a service to people. But what can I give them? And I think that when you think about socials, and I know, we probably would love to do more giveaways and bits and pieces, but I don't want to do giveaways to get followers. I don't like that. It's more about giving away just to say, well, thank you for supporting me. And can I do something back in return?
Yeah, totally. I want to talk to you about how you've made it work as a mum, and then stepping into, I guess, your directorship role with the property exchange, and also, selling. Oh God, I don't even know what your stats are at the moment. I should know that, but April was a cracker of a month. How are you making that all work?
I have always said you should always surround yourself with really successful and smart people. So we used to say that all the time back at Brady Corp. So it was about, okay, so who can we surround ourselves with, because we are not going to be able to do it all on our own. So having, number one, having you, to be able, people always talk about my social media, and I'm like, oh, that's great. What have I just posted? But it's like, but I don't have to worry about that. And so I know that that's taken care of. My children are older, so I'm sort of past sort of the craziness. There's still certain things, but
But even back in the day, I feel like you managed it so well.
Yeah, but
we had family.
I think we were, because we actually were a team, though.
Yeah, we were.
Really, we always had each other's back. We always had the support. We actually always had a vision of where we're going. So I remember at the start we kind of didn't, and then we're like, all right, well, how do we all fit into this role? I think there's one person here, but then in my office, I do have my beautiful daughter Brett as my assistant, and she is just literally the brains. She always says, I'm just Claire's brain. I just work on Claire's brain. And I'm like, well, you are also my spreadsheet analyst, and she tells me if I look crap, like my clothes or whatever, But so I have her that sort of literally runs my day. I have you that says, okay, well, Claire, this is what I need. I need this content, that content, what's coming up. We've now created such a good way of sort of saying, okay, well, this is coming on, and it's all
the
planned.
Workflow. I think the workflow is really
that's gotten so much better, and I think new ideas will come in, and we'll go, oh, actually, that worked really well.
Yeah.
Or I need access to this. I need to be part of that group. Can I have direct access to this? And so, I have a marketing manager in our office as well. So you are now on board with the marketing manager. So that way, I don't have to get involved with that. If you need something, you directly go there. So it helps me. So this whole big thing that's happening around me, because it's pretty theatrical of all the stuff that we do. And then that's, obviously then we get to the home open day. I have a pretty good videographer as well now, so he's really good.
Hey!
To sort of, props to that. But so everyone around, it's like the theatrics, and I get just to walk in. But
I think that's what you're so good at, is just, you're the queen of delegation, where you need to, well, yes, but then you've also got the support that are like, give me more, we're here to serve you.
That was taught that, when I went into my role, when we first started at Brady Corp, I had, a PB like talking to me and go, okay, Claire, this is what I need, blah, 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 and then I would make it all happen. And then when you came in, I would take that and then I go, okay, this is what we need, and then you would make it all happen. So, and I think people have really strong strengths in doing that. And there's some people, like if I tried to say to you, Shana, I need this creative, I can tell you what I need and how I need to sound, but I don't know how to do it, whereas that's your expertise.
Yeah, I think it's the granular details.
You know all of that. You know how to break it all down. You know how to actually convey the message I'm wanting to convey.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've always surrounded myself by really good people. I mean, obviously I have beautiful friends and amazing family and support. So with my kids, I've been so supported that way. And my fiance now, who, has stepped into an amazing role within our family and, with the kids and with me. So, and just like the people that we work with,
Yeah, I think the delegation.
We're so lucky.
do you think that if you were a micromanager, that you would be this successful? Or do you think it goes hand in hand to get this big, not big, but like to be this?
I've just started, no shame. No. Well, I think I've had to let go of a bit of control.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot more.
And I actually think that in this space of of brand management and social media, you have to actually let go of that control, because it is not my area of expertise. You understand what my brand is, you understand the message that I'm wanting to relay, so I have to allow you to actually do that.
Keep your circle tight with your clients, make sure that that feedback is coming through, you're taking it on the chin and then you're executing it onto the next. And then it will become less and less. I was actually speaking to Griffin about that. Each edit he does for you is less time, because he knows what you like now.
Yeah.
And that's like...
It's so true. It was actually quite fun, because the first time we did something, it's like, you absolutely nailed it, but I didn't like the porn music. And he's like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, this is what I'm seeing and hearing. And then he just did the music and bang, nailed it. Yeah. I don't think we've had to change any music since then. He understands sort of what I'm wanting to do, and obviously, sort of more of that feminine sort of side of sort of what I like to sort of have, that now I think is a little bit more synonymous with what I'm trying to do. But it is communication, and it's actually okay to get it wrong. This is what I love. I'm like, okay, we didn't quite nail that one. All right, well, what can we do now to nail it? What do we need? How do we best do something, do it even better? And I think in this industry now, we are having players come in that are up here. So, if I'm a bit behind the eight ball, I don't mind. And I don't mind looking at that and going, oh my gosh, that is where I need to be.
But I think that's part of your charm too.
How do I need to be there? And I love what they're doing, and I love that they actually raise the level for everybody else, because I can even see now with other agencies coming in, and there was an agency that came in a couple of years ago and they set the bar high, and I'm like, great, let's all get up there, because we've all been a bit slack. So, and I think social media's been huge on that, because, real estate is probably one of the only industries that you've got to keep telling people how good you are. It's a bit embarrassing. You're like, okay, I did this and I sold that and I'm wonderful, and hey, I got the record pricer here, and I've just done this award, and I used to always laugh about that, but I understand why, because people want social proof. They want to know who they're working with is experienced, and that is a really strong negotiator and has amazing flair of marketing and personable. They actually want to know that, and it's like, oh my gosh, if I have to keep telling people,
but it's like the thing with bite-sized information, you've got to continue. You've got to be on replay with everyone, because otherwise they're going to forget, or then you're not going to be in front of their mind. And I think with real estate social media as well, it's kind of like one of the hardest industries to grow, because you've got. I know personally with my other clients in the beauty space, or the cosmetic space, we get to partner or leverage off other ambassadors, other influencers who have triple the, whereas I was actually thinking to myself, how could we do that with yours?
Yeah.
And then I was like, it just doesn't work.
It's harder because it's about the individual as well.
Yeah.
Um,
But I also think, as a social media manager, it's really hard to grow and to keep that consistent growth for pages. And the only way I think we can do it, and this is why you've had so much success, is because when things catch and people see, and now we're seeing industry figures are joining you because they like your brand, not just your dream clients. It's like, and I remember saying there was a case study that one of our trainers wrote, and it was on how to do social media marketing well. And the case study was on your brand.
hey,
There you go.
But because you've also just had, there's a fine line, isn't there? I think sometimes when you don't want to be down people's throats about what you're doing, but you still just want to be at the top of their mind. So I still always take it back to the 5 principles, and it was when I was working with Paul Tronich, and he said to me, Claire, these are if I can just teach you one thing, this is it. And then I just always think they've got to get to know you, and they've got to get to like you, and then they obviously get to trust you. So if you've got those 3 important things, I think in any business, then they will likely use you and refer you.
And so I think as well, just going back to how you said, you have to stay in people's minds, but you don't want to talk about your stats. You don't actually want your stats out there.
I know.
Tell me more. This is like...
It's probably actually the reason that it's probably more that I think other real estate agents sort of have the judgmental, they're a bit judgy on that. Like I had someone once say, they heard a real estate agent say to me, oh my God, why has Claire done that photo? And it was a photo of me and I was laughing in a picture.
It's probably one that I took.
And I was like, I actually just really like that photo. I was like, I really liked it. And I just thought it was just a really nice photo. And I looked like a lot of energy. And for me, our business is so high energy. It's such a high energy game. To try and translate that into a picture, I don't know. I think it's more fear of judgment of other people in respect to what they think.
And that's so interesting in that space. Do you find that it's still such a competitive space to be in?
I've probably unfollowed quite a lot of other real estate agents because you can get caught up in what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And I just like to think about, okay, I just want to stay in my lane. My focus is actually my clients. It's not other agents.
No.
Yes, I mean, some of my competitors are my best buddies. And I'm a massive cheerleader for them, and I love to see what they do. And if I lose business to them, then that's okay because I know that the client's going to be in a great hands.
And there's enough to go around.
But I don't want to be following every other agent because then you start to compare and you just lose focus of what you should be doing. So I really perhaps like to focus on me and my team and the girls in my business and hopefully guys soon as well. Because it's about empowering each other, and I don't want to be, I don't want to get caught up because I'm sure people might look at some of my stuff and go, oh, I don't really like that. What has she done that for?
But that's just such personal preference.
I actually don't care. Don't follow me then.
That's right.
I don't care.
That's what I'm like. I'm like, I couldn't even tell you who the 5 other social media managers in Perth are because I'm in my lane. I don't look left. I don't look right. I'm already in the trenches. Grinding, I don't have time to keep eyes on.
My eyes are on my clients. That's what I sort of look at, and that's why I have you and other people around me to sort of do what I need to do to sort of have.
But even then, I don't even find that I'm not even referencing other agents. I'm just thinking about what we can do creatively for you. We're going to wrap it up with one last. Okay, let's do something. Okay. You can ask me a question, and then I'll ask you one.
Okay, all right.
But all right. So have 3 seconds to think of our questions each.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God.
Okay, I've got one, okay. I think. Okay, so I'm going to just reiterate again how proud I am of you because I do feel that you have just taken this little business and you've had that vision, even with having baby number 2 and all of that. you've just said, you know what, I'm going to do this. This is what I want, and you've done it. And I love that little fighter in you. And you, even just with all your new clients, it makes me so excited about what you're doing and actually the stuff. So congratulations to you. So I will then ask for you, like, what is it what's one of the most important things you think that you need from your client to be able to have a successful sort of collaboration and team sort of relationship?
Okay. Which I've been thinking about this actually quite a bit lately, because I find that when I bring people on, I have to really coach them into releasing that control. The clients that do give me full control straight away, and is where the magic really happens straight off the bat. I also think I've had clients come to me with like just the idea, and then saying, I'm going to open this business, let's do the brand from start to finish. So I really particularly think that's the best recipe for success. So when they come in and they've got an idea, they don't even have necessarily a space where they're trading out of. They're going, okay, I'm going to open, for example, I'm going to open a tanning studio, a 24/7 tanning studio in Bunbury. Here's the idea, here's the vision board, and I'm just like, the creative in me is just like, oh my God, let's go. Like, it's so exciting because, you know, we then start on the logo, you know, the concept behind it, what the inspo is, and it's all just built so heavily around them. And then I also get such a granular insight into them as a person.
Who they are.
And I'm on the journey with them. So it's like I want to be that support system straight off the bat, and I want to create with them straight off the bat.
I love that about you. I think that's going to be one of your key or your fundamental points of success and your points of difference for other people, because you understand people and you listen and you get to actually really delve into who they are as a person, because you are then able to then put it out to the world about who they are and how you represent them and they'll just go, yep, that's exactly who it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you have absolutely nailed.
Did you ever expect to have this level of success when we were like, say, circa 2013?
Yes.
You did?
100%. We always were going.
No, for you, just as a, because
No, Shania, you can
No, for you though.
Yes, but like
mirror you.
Okay,
I want you to talk about you. Whereas,
Absolutely. And I still feel that there is so much more for me.
Oh my God, I know. I mean, I feel like you're just
children,
scratching the surface.
I feel like, you know, I had babies at 20.
I know. Bless.
Married, like 19, I was pregnant. Oh my gosh. The good Sicilian Catholic that I am. Jeez.
And then when I got pregnant at 25, it was like we were reliving your PTSD from being pregnant at 20.
Like, what? That, you know, it was like, so I always kind of went, well, in between like my 40s and 50s is my time to shine. It's going to be me now. Like, you know, I've given so much to my children and my family and my late husband, and I did, you know, I was with the property exchange and started their rent roll and had babies in between and was breastfeeding in the corner. And then when I wanted to go into a different role, and we landed I think when we both landed at Brady Corp, we didn't actually, there was no real defined role for either of us. And it both just grew into this, you know, amazing sort of little family that we had. And we also were on a massive roller coaster with the, you know, Karratha market the way it was, and all their staffing issues and just everything that was.
We just got thrown in the deep end, it's like sink or swim.
And but then, you know, I always felt that you know, when I was wanting to leave, and I didn't want to leave. I remember I was like so devastated because I did love you guys so much, but it was like, okay, I need to be out now. I had this, like, when I lost Paul, I had this little shelter of security around me, which was our business,
family,
and it was our home. And then it made me think of like everyone's home, or everyone's house is their home, and this is their place of security and where they feel most safe. And I wanted to make that for other people. I wanted to then be part of their lives to, you know, have that secure and safe space for them to be whoever they want to be, because I was blessed and graced with that
to go through all
that horrible experience. So do I think that, you know, now, but back then I would be where I'm at? I actually 100%. I in my head I was like, I want to be selling real estate. I love selling real estate. I feel like for the next 5 to 10 years, this is what I'm going to be doing. Everyone says, wow, gosh, you must be working so hard. I'm working very smart.
You are working very smart.
I can't say I'm doing millions and millions of hours a week, but when I work, I actually work on what I need to work on. I'm not wasting time. I do have like if I had to do my own social media, forget about it. It's too consuming for me. My what I need to focus on and my hourly rate is different than doing social media. Not saying that's any less.
No, I get it.
I don't need to put my energy there. It's not what I'm good at. So now I think, okay, well, my next step would be, to be able to be in our business, to be able to grow it, to be surrounding myself, I think, by people in the industry that I now want to take our business and to a different level. Who is it? How is it? What does that look like? And start creating a new legacy for me in my business and in my career. So I think I've come in under sort of another legacy of a business, and now this is my time. I've put a lot of hard work in the last 3 years to create this, and now I think for the next 10 it will be my legacy. And that's all about helping my team then create their own success and people around me, because I just love that so much. I love seeing my girls succeed.
It's so funny. I remember when you were leaving Brady Cop, and you were like, I don't know what we're going to do together in the future, but we're still going to be doing something together professionally. And like that just...
Well, you were going to come... Well, I was wanting you to come and work with me in sales.
I know. And then I couldn't commit. Anyway, who knows? But if you would have asked me that question, I would have said, absolutely, no, I would never imagine that I would have a business here that would be based around social media. And I thought I was ride or die real estate. For the outset.
But you started there, and then that gave you another thing. So
my little passion project that was supposed to pay for the food shop.
Yeah, and a little bit of Gucci. No, just joking.
No, I was too broke. I had a kid to pay for.
But yeah, no, I think for you and I, it was always just that something was amazing going to happen.
And it was always us together. Yeah. And I don't think that will stop.
No, I have complete trust and faith in everything that you do, and I love what you do, and I just want it to become bigger and better for you. And this is where I'm seeing you doing all this other stuff, and it is amazing. And you're just balanced. You're doing it so well. I'm so proud.
Thanks, Clary.
Okay,
we did good.
Yay.